Hey everybody, so if you're here, you're probably wanting to know the answer to the question, why does it take so long to get my photos back from a photographer? I'm going to explain that to you right now. Well, with us, it takes about anywhere between 4 to 12 weeks to get the final set, right? The final tray. And we do a lot of editorial work. So, in addition to our weddings, we apply the same process to our weddings and to our editorial process because we want you to get the very best images that you possibly can. So, if you're a photographer, right? And I'm speaking strictly from a photography standpoint here. You're trying to get the very best images that you've shot. And it comes down to very fine detail. Okay, and sometimes those details take a longer to find, and sometimes they don't. Sometimes we can find the details pretty quick, and sometimes we can't. But when you're editing a lot of images, and during the course of a wedding, we can take thousands of images. But when you're editing a lot of images, it's crucial to have the systems in place to make the process efficient. So here's some of my best practices that we use, since I do most of the editing here, to help you get a better understanding of why it takes so long to get your photos back. So first what I do is I import all of the images out of into Lightroom. That's what I use. You can use Capture One if you're a photographer, whatever the case may be, right? Just import your photos somewhere, okay? Next, once you get them imported, immediately pick out the unusable images, throw them away. And then we go in and rename all of the files with a system that identifies the shoot, the date, and the client. Okay, that takes time. Then we go in to add keywords. That's very important, adding keywords, because keywords not only make them searchable for me in my library, for you as the customer, when you're looking through hundreds of images, right? And you get your maybe bride, groom, cocktail hour, whatever the case may be, you want to be able to find them real easy, right? So keywords are very important. Once we get past that keywording stage, we cull our images down using a 5-star method. Okay, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 obviously the best, 1 obviously the worst. You're probably never going to see a 1, 2, potentially never see a 3. But once we do that, we have a backup system in place for all of our files. This is where you should probably back up more than one location. We use 2 different cloud locations, and we have our own servers that we back your photos up with. So I'm very systematic about how I edit photos to ensure that when I'm narrowing the photos down to the very, very best ones, you're getting the very best. So 1 star is I'm removing photos with obvious problems to narrow down the usable ones. 2 stars, I narrow it down to good photos, and I group them into series. Cocktail hour, ceremony, pre-wedding, post-wedding, whatever, right? 3 stars, we kind of refine that down, if you will, a little bit further into series. Then we narrow down the top 5 in each series to 2 or 3, and then we just keep narrowing it down till we get to those really epic photos that we want, right? So Adobe has well-written instructions on how to import and how to rename all your files if you're a photographer. If you want to dive into that, that's great. But it takes some time. So I want to remind you that when you start to think, I want my images back today, we're going to give you a first look. We're going to pick our very, very best, our really top 20 or 30 pictures, right? And we're going to show those to you. Those are our favorites. And then from there, we're just going to kind of keep making things go, keep making things happen, right? And we'll keep adding to this tray, if you will. So you have, at the end, hundreds of what we think are great images to look through. But this all takes time. So there's a process to all of this, and that process takes time. If you've ever wondered why you get your first batch of pictures and you're like, wow, I want more, sometimes it takes us a minute because we have thousands of photos that we have to cull through and edit and present them to you. That can take quite a while. I'm Matt Pierce, creative director and photographer for Route 3 Productions. Give us a call. We love working with you. Take care. And hopefully that answers your question.